then when I told that, and Nainan sir laughed and he said, even I took the idea from Colonel Blimp. So Adrefrakwa through him, so he it was a fascinating journey, and it was like, is it Dajit Nainan? That's how I. No, I have not learned cartoon from anywhere, but I believe none of the cartoonists will do, because most of the institutions, they don't cover cartoons. So I learned the way others learned, like mostly from the newspapers, the magazines, the periodicals that we used to see while we grew up, those era. Fortunately, like we grew up on those stage, like where plenty of magazines, newspapers were available. We could see some of the great works that time.
I would definitely want you to name them.
Yeah, obviously, like we had the lots of various like comics, like both Indian and Western that time, starting with Amar Chitrakatha, then Indrajal comics. Even the backside of the Indrajal comics, there are like some pantomime and gag cartoons were there, and there are lots of other magazines, like specifically I'll talk about the Illustrated Weekly, just to see Lakshman and Mario's work. And another magazine I used to follow is Target. Maybe a little later days, like when I first saw the works of Ajit Nainan.
Okay.
So I always considered him as my guru. And then we had like some famous characters like Gardab Das, done by Nilav Banerjee and Jayanta Banerjee. So I used to follow those, and then I started checking like if I can draw a comics or something. I drew something. My father was a doctor, so he had lots of those letterhead, and on the backside I started drawing my own stories and all. Doesn't make sense at all. So, but all those garbage I used to create, and I got those like stapler to staple some 4-page comics, and I used to give them to my friends. So that's how it all started. Surprisingly, some of my friends still have that copy. I was so surprised to see those things. So that's how it all started. But I'll tell you another story. It was sometime around 2005 when I met Mr. Philip de Ryder. So he was a football coach who came all the way from Belgium. So and he was the chief coach of Kolkata's famous East Bengal club.
Oh, I see.
So he came there, and he was actually by passion he was a cartoonist too. So somehow we came to know each other, and during his tenure we both started a small cartoon studio in Kolkata.
I see.
Obviously, like we know that like you cannot sustain with a cartoon studio, but it was ahead of its time. We started like with a cartoon studio, but like we know that it would be difficult to sustain, to have a studio. Then we started having some web development work. That time I was a web designer, so his idea, my execution. But again, like we had to wrap up within some 3-4 months. But it was kind of a beginning. So he's the one who actually saw some of my cartoons, and he thought like I should do it more seriously. So every time he used to come from Brussels, he used to bring some comic, because I was a big fan of Tintin, especially Asterix. So I like the entire genre of Franco-Belgian comics. So because of the subtle humor, and also which I don't find it in the American stuff. So so I was a big fan, and he was basically a kind of a connection for me. So and I came to know about more other artists, like works are not readily available in India, but he used to bring all those books, and then like I started like studying those, and then I thought like I can also try to do something like that. So that's how my beginning of doing some serious cartooning.
Okay.
And that's why when I started working on the football book, he was an automatic choice to write the foreword, the introduction, and of course I got his guidance because it is football and I'm not a football player,
Okay.
but his thoughts and his ideas, he is a subject matter expert, so he guided me in many ways. So that was a nice collaboration, and good that we still have that connection. And when I started my magazine, so I got an opportunity to request him to write, so that's why that connection is still on.
Okay, so he has contributed to Cartoonists India magazine.
He did
So
because last year was the birth centenary of one of their most of course we know Tintin, Hergé was the most famous, but most talented was Andre Fraqua. So I came to know about Andre Fraqua through him, so he showed me lots of his works. Very talented cartoonist. So he has done the cartoon as well as the comics, and many different types of experimentation he has done. Nobody even dared to. So I thought he's the right person to write about that. So he gladly accepted and he wrote it, and I illustrated that. So again, kind of a collaboration work.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I think this gives me a segue to ask you the next question. It kind of gives an insight about your experience of writing and how it exposed you to do illustration, and how you self-honed skills of that of illustrating. You used it effectively, and your experience of coming up with a book like this has helped you to develop the insights. Insights of to be an editor yourself, and which I think the Indian Institute of Cartoonists is kind of leveraging that, as you're the editor of their annual magazine. So that's how I think I can sum up your journey so far. But what more interests me is, tell us something about your hobbies. You also said that while you were trying to develop the cartooning skills, there were a lot of inspiration. You named a few of them. Can you tell us something about your hobbies around it and the books that you've collected of the people who inspired you? Just give us a brief about that.
Yeah, obviously as a cartoon itself is a hobby. Even till now, I'm not a professional one, so it is still my hobby. But yeah, whatever we have done now, we also now started publishing it. That means it is becoming a serious business. But yeah, it is still a passion.
So I'm sure it's a serious business for you.
I never thought in that line, but yeah, definitely when even if you are writing for something and when it is getting published and some publisher is actually spending money, or we're getting all this sponsorship, that means it is a serious business, not for me but for them as well. So that means there is a time frame. Of course there is a time frame that you have to complete, and you have to, because when we publish all these books, when the Olympic Games and the World Cup was around the corner, so we had to follow that very limited time frame, this very strict timeline to complete the thing and do it. So I always consider that my professional skill set actually helped me to do this one, because by profession I'm a project manager, and that actually helped me. Now everyone is asking documenting all this thing Indian history, so reaching out to everyone, it's not an easy task. I said sometime maybe more than a editor, it's become a job of a project manager to bring everyone and get the thing done. So that somehow helped me, and as I'm also writing it, that actually helped me to have some grip there, when I need to assign some tasks, so I can sometime give them an idea that how I need this one, how we are going to follow that. Not everyone, because some, including you, so you know that topic so well, so I don't need to explain it. You know that how you should cover. But to get a cartoonist right about their life journey, it's a challenging task. So sometimes we have to guide them, we have to tell them we need it to cover you that way. Even you created a character, so what was the thought process behind that? So you have to just give some ideas, thoughts, so that that would be easier even for the interested people should know from you. So that's how like it was actually kind of a complimentary.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, if you ask me about some people, definitely, like as I mentioned, like Ajit Nainan was one of my early hero. Definitely Lakshman was like, that's how I started. Like I know cartoon as a cartoon, seeing his work. So obviously, like in those days, like we used to have those Bengali newspapers.
Yeah.
But because of Lakshman, only I think once a week we used to have the Times of India, just to see that, because my maternal uncle, I came to know about R.K. Lakshman through him. He said like you should see every day. There is a small box cartoon comes on the front page of the newspaper.
Yeah.
He thinks something and he draws it, published on the next day. So that's how I came to know about that, and then I saw more of his work, and especially I like his Indianized style, so which he was mastered. There is no doubt about that. But yeah, like Ajit Nainan's one, those more colorful ones, that actually attracted me, and I started like copying Lakshman and Ajit Nainan's work. That's how things started. And then at the same time, like I used to start collecting those books, and that became a passion now. If you see everywhere, like all these books, like I collected over like 40 years now. But at least like it actually also helped me, like when I'm editing something and working with something. It's difficult, like if you have those ready-made information with you, that is always helpful, rather than like visiting multiple places, because most of the gallery you won't find much information about the cartoons. The cartoon books, like sometimes mostly those you can find self-published ones. After some time those are not available anymore. So mostly the artists, the cartoonists themselves, they try to publish very limited editions. I tried all possible way to collect some of those cartoons with the books also. Then I reached out to many of those yesteryear cartoonist family members, so they actually helped me. So I need to mention about Indian Institute of Cartoonists, like when I got introduced to Mr. Narendra.
Okay.
It is about sorry, I'm not sure whether I'm diverting it from there, but it was also very much part of my inspiration, because before that, like Mr. Narendra, when he saw my books, he said like I wanted to host an exhibition. I was not prepared about that. It's an exhibition of what? Like now it was part of story. So all the cartoons, whatever I've drawn, supported by some text there. So I cannot show only a standalone cartoon. That doesn't make any sense. We said like you think of something to make it a sense. Then I started thinking, and I recreated few things, so that a cartoon will come with some 2-3 lines of some context, so that they can easily read. While doing that, like, and all this inspiration and encouragement from Mr. Narendra, then I thought, yeah, like when some publisher is showing my interest to publish it, prestigious organization like Indian Institute of Cartoonists, they are actually trying to host an exhibition. So that was the first solo exhibition of my cartoons. Then I thought like it's high time I should take it seriously. So that's how it all started, with all the help from Narendra sir. And when we started this magazine, maybe I can tell you more about how we this magazine shaped up, how it came up. But over the years, working closely with Mr. Narendra, it was a fascinating journey, and it was a learning on every step.
That's a nice point that you mentioned. You talked about Lakshman, you talked about Narendra sir. You also talked about Ajit Nainan. Any anecdotes that you have about Ajit Nainan that you would like to share?
Yeah, Ajit Nainan, it was quite a funny story, like how I got introduced to my guru. So I used to follow his cartoons. At that time he was with India Times. So most of his best works are like during his time with India Times. So even he also admitted that. During my interview, I asked this question. So again, it was in the Target, like the Detective Mochwala. That actually caught my attention, and I used to follow Detective Mochwala comics, and that's how I came to know about Ajit Nainan, his style of drawing and all. It was quite fascinating. So I used to follow that. I used to imitate his style and all. I never told anywhere, but like I started drawing my first character like following his detective Mochola, but then when I told that, and Nainan sir laughed and he said, even I took the idea from Colonel Blimp. so that was the funnier episode. But how I got introduced was like that time I was actually working with Times about this Olympic book.
Yeah.
So when like it was in making, so normally when all these books are happening, like I compose each and every pages, like I design it. The same thing with the Cartoonist India. So I just create compose all the pages. I check like how much space is there, like where the cartoon should come, how much space I'll get for those cartoons. Accordingly I place those cartoons. So that actually give me all this kind of like a liberty, like how much space I can have. Based on that I'll write it that way. So that idea actually came from these books.
Okay.
When we sent this book for the test print, so the first dummy, as they call, they suddenly I got a call from them. Sorry to tell you, there is a problem. So what was that? I think some problem with the color. That entire blue, or wherever I use blue, that turned gray, and now the page is looking very dull.
Okay.
And it was a time that Olympic was almost like 1 month, or less than a month, and we had to send the book for print in a day or two. So we didn't know what to do, and that time, like even being a professional like graphic designer, I also like it was a kind of a panic moment. Like I have to do it, but almost a 200 page book. Like how can I do it like each and every page in this small like a short time? Then they suggested like, okay, like we have our senior art director here, maybe we can take his suggestion if he can suggest, because I said like, see, I am from the digital area, so I don't know much about the printing part. So digital, whatever you do, I can see the same thing on the screen. But printing, like whenever you are doing a printing, you cannot expect the same thing, so it will be a little different depending on what kind of printing it is, whether it is a digital one or the offset one or the silk screen one. So we have to use a different some resolution and things based on that. So obviously this is an offset one, and obviously there should be some So is it on? Okay. So then the art director actually gave us some easy solution that you tried this way, and that actually worked. So I just wanted to thank him. So I said like, now like we are still on time and it went for print. I just wanted to say thanks to, I just called them and said like, can you just give my regards to him? He said, yeah, he's just next to sitting next to us. He just wanted to say hi to you. And somebody picked up and said, hi Bibek, this is Ajit Nainan. It was a nice work. And I was like literally like frozen, like, is it the Ajit Nainan? That's how I met him.
Okay.
So after that I got introduced to him, and
then the relationship continued.
Yeah.